Hello everyone, Leigh from Martinuzzi Property Group. Welcome to another weekly real estate market update. Today I'm going to talk about a couple of articles that I've read during the week, and I've actually blogged about them this week as well. You can check that out at martinuzzi.com.au. So it's a website there. I put all my articles and things that I write about up there for you to review. Anyway, one of the interesting articles that I did read was about a guy who's predicting what's going to happen for the year of 2021. Now, this guy back in May predicted that property prices in Australia would increase by about 14% by the end of the financial year 2021. Now, he's saying, and this is a bit of a disagreement with what the figures from CoreLogic represent, but he's saying that figures of property price growth in Australia actually rose by about 18%, so quite a bit above what he was predicting. Now, CoreLogic, on the other hand, has suggested that nationally property prices have actually risen by about 14.5% to that end of financial year for 2021. And they've also suggested that by the end of the year, we could see prices rise by about 19%. However, this guy is now predicting that if the trend continues in Australia, by the end of 2021, December 2021, we could see property prices in Australia rising as much as 38%, which is absolutely phenomenal and hard to imagine that property prices could rise that much more. Now, if his predictions are correct, up here on the Sunshine Coast, we've actually seen a larger increase in property prices than the national average. So on the Sunshine Coast, the figures that I've seen suggest that the average price of properties have risen by about 25%. So if the predictions are correct, that means that here on the Sunshine Coast in 2021, we could see property prices rise by as much as 50%. Now, that's really, really hard to imagine because property prices are going to be very, very much unaffordable. And they're already reaching that point. For many people, property affordability is just out of reach. Now, for our southern buyers that are coming up here, capitalising on the market down in the southern states, the likes of Sydney and Melbourne, and coming up here, that still represents great affordability for what they can get here for their dollar. But for our local buyers, it's a little bit of a different story. So what's going to happen now? Well, look, springtime generally is a very busy time where a lot of property owners get their properties on the market for sale. And nationally, over the last 10-year average, in spring, we see a 15 to 16% increase of properties listed for sale. Now, this year, it's probably going to be a little bit different, okay, because of the lockdowns in New South Wales, the lockdowns in Victoria. I don't think we're going to see that spring effect happening in those southern states. Up here in Queensland, a little bit of a different story. We're actually seeing in our end a lot more requests to do property appraisals and list properties. And so we believe that springtime up here will be fairly busy. And we're going to have that same level of buyer demand that we've been experiencing this year as well, because there are still a huge number of buyers out there that's just waiting to buy that perfect property, but there's just been that lack of property availability. So this spring, I think we'll see a number of properties up here on the Sunshine Coast come to the market, and that'll allow buyers a little bit more choice and obviously help them find that perfect home as well. What it means for our southern states, well, if they're in lockdown, it's unlikely that they're going to put their property on the market. There are still sales happening down there, but that trend is definitely declining as the lockdowns continue. And what we saw last year when Melbourne was in lockdown coming into the spring season, there was very few properties that were listed for sale. And as soon as those lockdowns end, which I think happened in about October, there was a huge surge of homeowners choosing to sell their properties. And actually they noticed in December a 40% increase in the amount of properties listed for sale from what was typical. So summer became the new spring in Melbourne, and that could happen this year too. So if the continuation of lockdowns go further through spring and the restrictions don't ease until closer to summer, I think we'll see a lot more activity in summer. And certainly that activity down there will have a flow-on effect up here in Queensland, where we'll see the sellers from down there that have sold coming up here to purchase properties. So look, is it a good time to sell now or later in the year? I think it's always a great time to sell. You've got to do what's right for you and your current position. But look, we are still getting strong interest in properties right now, and still the buyers are paying premium prices for properties as well. For the right properties, they need to present well, and certainly the buyers are happy to proceed. So a lot of qualified buyers at the moment in our area, guys. if you are looking to sell or looking to buy or anything real estate related that we can help with, make sure you give me a call, and you can check out those blogs once again at martinuzzi.com.au. You have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.